Hello, welcome to Razortree Productions, and welcome to our fourth. I think this is our fourth podcast. I'm counting this as a podcast. So I wanted to fill in everyone that cares to listen on a lot of the news and things that are happening with the channel, because a lot's been going on behind the scenes here. First off, do I sound okay? I need to make sure all the bells and whistles are working properly before I start getting into all this. Am I too loud? Am I too quiet? So you'll probably get some feedback here. Sorry, making sure everything's right. I don't stream a lot, so I have to do a lot of checking. Oh, very cool. Well, I can hear myself on the thing. So if you notice from the title, the biggest thing to start with here is my computer, my old computer, mind you, spoiler alert, attempted to be a Flamespire Phoenix, and it died and caught on fire, mostly just the video card, and tried to come back to life at full health, but it did not roll a 4-up, so it just died. Luckily, I was able to get a new computer. That's what I'm on now, streaming, and this one is significantly better than the old one I had. And I was able to recover the hard drive. Apparently, you can just buy a cable and have a power supply and plug it into your computer with a USB and grab all your old files. That's the good news. So a lot of my templates and stuff I was able to keep, so I'll still be able to have my cool intros. Well, what I consider cool. I don't know what anybody else does, because nobody says anything about it, which is, I guess, good for social media or internet. But the bad news is I was not able to recover my video or audio software, because I had a DAW, a digital audio workstation, for recording music, and obviously the video editing software. I use Vegas Pro. I love it. But yeah, I can't recover that now. I do not have the box or anything that had my old keys and all that on it, because I've had this for, hell, it's Vegas 13 that I had, and now we're at Vegas 18, so it's, I don't know how many years that's been, but a long time, a very long time. So what I'm gonna do, since I couldn't recover that stuff, is buy the new Vegas. Just bite the bullet and get it, and start anew, which means I'm gonna have to create a lot of new templates, re-record a lot of stuff. Not as much, because I was able to record some of the, or recover some of the videos that I lost. But I will be redoing a lot of stuff from scratch, which sounds tedious, because it will be, but it'll be worth it. It will be worth it, because I think this new computer is ridiculously fast compared to the old one I have. The old one I've had for about 8-10 years. What do you think, Chris? About 8 or 10 years? Not quite. Well, we've been together for 10, and we bought it like a couple years in, maybe. It's old. It's old. Basically, I'd already maxed out everything on it, maxed out the memory, maxed out the video card, had the biggest power supply I could, and it was good to me. It treated me well. So rest in peace. So I mean, actually, it's sitting over there. So because I can't seem to let it go. None of the parts are usable in the new computer, because the DDR is like 2. I don't know what this stuff means, but I'm gonna say it because I've read it. It's DDR2 memory, and I have DDR3 memory now. That was an old dual-core processor, an AMD. This is I don't know, it's like 8 cores or some weird stuff. I don't know. It's real fancy. It's a, what is the brand? Skytech Shadow 3? That sounds about right. Either way, it's awesome. Like, I press power, and then like it's already ready to log in, and when I log in, everything's already ready. There's no downtime. I'm not used to that. I am constantly like the hand-me-down old computers. Dave, a guy that when he was still with us, contributed a lot to the channel, gave me a lot of computers, gave Chris a computer, gave Brian a computer, and I had a lot of scavenged parts and things from him as well. But hey, we've moved on. We're onto a better computer, and now I can do things like stream. Which brings me on to kind of the next thing, going a little bit into the channel format. YouTube, I'm still sticking strong with YouTube. I love YouTube. Well, I love having a format to place all my videos. It doesn't have to be YouTube, but it's the best format so far. So that's what I do. It's also, my channel's mirrored on Odyssey as well, if you care to go to any kind of alt tech. But I do have a format set in stone now that I'm going to stick with for a while until I get bored or people complain too much. I don't care about trolling. I don't listen to that. But if it's like legitimate complaints and concerns, then yeah, I'll move on. But I'll get to that in a minute. There's my teaser. For now, since I can stream seamlessly now, I tried streaming before on my old computer. It could not stream. It couldn't stream video games. If I tried to do a little bit of tech talk here, I use OBS Streamlabs, and there's a couple of different captures you can do for a video game. You can just do the game capture, which I don't know the minutia behind it, but it captures the actual gameplay footage from the game. Or you could do window capture, which is whatever you put in this monitor is what we're going to show. And you could just do that to show the game you're playing by it being in that window. And that's what I had to do to get a stream that just didn't collapse in on itself instantly. It took a minute before it collapsed. So I didn't have a lot of video game streaming, and I didn't stream any tabletop simulator. That has now changed. So, since this goes hand in hand, Chris, should I go into the format and then go into what I'm going to be doing on Twitch as well? Or should I go into the Twitch part first and then go over the full format that I'm planning on following here? Twitch first, the wife has spoken. I listen to what she says, usually. Unless I don't hear it or misinterpret it or, all the things that happen. So Twitch, I have started streaming some practice games Brian and I have been playing on Tabletop Simulator because it works now, which is great. But, well, I guess there's no but to that. Now we will have full games streamed on Twitch. I'm not putting it on YouTube in the full streamed version just because I want to keep the algorithm not messed with too much, and I don't want to do too many live streams. I like doing these podcasts on YouTube just because they tend to be channel updates at the rate that I release them. But on Twitch, I lost my train of thought there. The cute sneeze got me. I don't know if you can hear it on this mic, but I could hear it. Just punched my windscreen. But on Twitch now, we're going to do the full games of Tabletop Simulator, and then what I'll do is download them from Twitch, and then kind of edit it down like I would do our live battle reports, and cut out all the extra stuff and go towards just the meat. And I'll put that as a new playlist on YouTube as soon as I get my editing software up and running. It's not yet, which is why I'm doing this podcast, is to be like, hey, we're not gone. I've just had computer fires and have a lot of setup to get going. The other thing is Brian has become much freer with his time. Technically, he's a full-time engineer student now. He got accepted into an engineering school, and that's some intense stuff. I do not envy the math that man's having to do. Point being, he's able to come over here more, and we're able to record more consistently. And between just him and myself, we have like 10 armies. My wife's also about to get all her stuff actually painted up. And it's only been, how long has Age of Sigmar been out? 5 years? We haven't been in it that long, so it hasn't been that long. So it's been a long time, though. I don't know if you can hear the scowls, but I can feel them. Anyway, the point being, we have a lot of different armies, and we're going to be doing a lot of different battle reports. So my scatterbrain, I got to go back into my notes because I'm trying to go off the top of my head, and I keep going everywhere. So, channel format. I really like mixed martial arts. Trust me, this is going somewhere.
Segues are weird.
Yeah, segues are weird. But I really like mixed martial arts. I used to train it. It's been so long ago that I can't remember crap now. And if somebody came in to slap fight me, I'd probably lose. But I still remember the way it made me feel. I loved it, and I love watching mixed martial arts still. So I've kind of taken that inspiration into creating a format, putting it in something I can understand, a format for the channel. So we're going to have training sessions, sparring sessions, and fight night. They're not going to be named that, but that's kind of where I'm going with how I'm thinking there. But so training sessions, in mixed martial arts, that's where you're in the gym. That's where you're practicing your moves. That's where you're doing, Brian will remember this, training with Kane, condition, position, submission. You condition first because you can't do anything if you can't breathe or have no cardio. Then you learn your position because it doesn't matter about submissions if you don't know where the hell you're supposed to be. or how to get out of something, then submission. It's the last thing you do. The equivalent of that in Age of Sigmar, which is mostly what we're doing right now, is getting our list together, practicing scenarios and whatnot. We are going to do that on our Discord channel. Our Discord is linked in the description. What we'll do is Brian and I, maybe my cousin Sean if I ever gets on, Chris and I perhaps, basically what we're going to do is have live streams of our tabletop simulator sessions that aren't necessarily full games on Discord. What we're going to do there is maybe not have an entire army set up, but maybe have like, okay, I want to see what this unit with this hero, what this combo does on the table. So will you set something up and I'll put this combo on the table. I just want to see how it interacts. I want to see if it's worth pursuing on this list. Or I want to know how I need to deploy under this deployment. I know this list I made is weak on this certain battle plan, like my Phoenix Temple with the old school stuff. In a, like I had a GT, the North American GT a couple of years ago now. Geez, it's been a while. But anyway, I had a list that was very weak to Duality of Death back in the day and Places of Arcane Power, which unfortunately my two losses were, both of those were in the tournament. So point being, like, we could do things like, hey, I'm really weak in this thing, so I need to see how I deploy generally, since you never know how terrain's going to go, but I need to generally see how I'm going to deploy this army and test it out. Or I want to see how this hero interacts with this unit, or I want to see what happens if I fight this unit and they charge me, or I charge them. A lot of scenarios, basically going through what in my head is the equivalent of training in the gym. You're going through positions over and over again. You're re-racking constantly to restart to see what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Basically, where you take all your risks, where you do all your weird moves, where you go for the gusto just to see how it works out. That's our training sessions. I'll think of something cooler to name it eventually, but that again will be in our Discord, live streamed through the Discord itself. So go to the link in the description if you'd like to join our Discord for that or anything else, because all of us, me, friends, and followers of the channel, all can join in there and talk and do whatever you'd like. It's fun. It's certainly no AOS Coach Discord. That thing is insanely cool, but it's getting there. It's not, but it's got to start somewhere. Next would be sparring sessions. So in the gym, after you've started learning your stuff, you want to see in a safe, controlled environment how that goes. So you put on your gloves, you put on your headgear, you go and you actually spar. You do your live sparring, or if you're doing jits, you actually go into your rolling sessions. Jiu-jitsu, that's what I mean by jits. It's a grappling submission style mixed martial art. Anyway, the sparring sessions for our channel, which will be mostly Age of Sigmar. We're going to go with Age of Sigmar for this. I might add more. I've got Ignition Core, and I might eventually play 40k, but my love, my passion is Age of Sigmar. So that's the main focus. That will be, sparring sessions will be us doing full games on Tabletop Simulator streamed on Twitch. Because a cool thing that happened because of our music, not a segue, my distributor DistroKid has a deal set up with Twitch where if you have a certain amount of views or whatever with your music, then you can apply to become an affiliate on Twitch. I did that, I qualified, so I'm an affiliate on Twitch now. That's fantastic. Twitch is going to have a lot of stuff. I'm going to go into some of the extra stuff we'll be doing on a Twitch later, but as far as this goes, I'll speak more on that. We will be playing Tabletop Simulator full games on Twitch live. So I'll try to post those, and we'll do that more often. It's not on a set schedule yet, but for now, we've already gotten a couple of games in on Twitch, and it's a lot of fun. And knowing that now that my audio works, the streaming has no lagging, it all goes seamlessly, I'm very comfortable with promoting publicly that we are on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Razortree. If that's not in the description now, I'll put it in after this live stream's over. But again, we'll be doing live games. And after those live games are over, once I have my editing software, again, I'm repeating, but I'm going to take those games and edit them down to just all the fast-paced action and put those as a playlist on YouTube. So you can kind of see both. If you want to catch us live and be able to interact with us and talk to us, maybe make fun of us by the way we play, you can do that on the live streams of Twitch. But if you just want to see the game and just kind of see how it played out in the rapid, fast action that we're going to be doing with our new format, then that will be on YouTube. Moment here. So that's sparring sessions. And then fight night, that's where, you're putting it all together. You got your final list. I guess mixed martial arts wise, it's, when you're going to your actual fight. Hopefully all the training worked out because you're about to test it and see what happens. As far as Age of Sigmar, that is us doing our actual battle reports. What have now attached to these battle reports is a series called War Center. It is essentially a pre-game show for our battle reports. I have detached the list breakdown segment of our battle reports, removed that completely, even the battle plan breakdown, and moved that into a separate video that I premiere now right before the battle report, because now I'm going to try to make it to where our big battle reports, which right now are our only battle reports, are all premiered, live premieres. So you know when they're coming out, and you can go on and interact with everybody live when they're playing. They're pre-recorded, but you can interact on the live chat during the live premieres. Live premieres are really cool on YouTube. I really enjoy those. I was introduced to those by AOS Coach back at the Adepticon at home, if y'all remember that, when the junk all started, and they did the AOS Coach invited me to have a battle report on that, and that was the first time I experienced a live premiere, and I really like that. I was finding an excuse to use it again. So we have that, and it is War Center will premiere right before the battle report. War Center is going to have actual detailed breakdowns of the lists that will be in the battle report, breakdowns of the battle plan and tactics that will be in that battle report, and then final thoughts, basically. What that lets us do is shorten the length of the actual battle report. It really makes it easier to keep it under an hour, because that's just something about the human mind and myself. If it's under an hour, I feel better about it. But then in the War Center also, we have better chances to kind of inject our personality, and you get to see where our mindset is. You can see why we're making the decisions we are, because we'll also not just break down what's in our list. We'll have we have segments where we talk about what our main tactics are for that list, how we approach that list, why we built it the way we did. And we've got a couple of these now already. This coincided with the debut of Lumineth Realm Lords on the channel. So we have a War Center followed by a battle report with Lumineth Realm Lords versus Maggotkin and Nurgle with Pestilent Throng. Then we have a War Center followed by the battle report of Lumineth Realm Lords versus Skaven. So you can get an idea of the format. It's literally me and the other opponent. In this case, for both of these, it's me and Brian. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Brian. I'm hoping to get to the point where I'm actually filming other people playing and not just me being in the game every time. But it will be the two people playing in the game, talking to each other face to face, discussing all these tactics on film, which again makes a better video for tactics, because I know I really enjoy that part of battle reports. But I mean, sometimes I just want to watch that and don't want to watch the battle report, and that really hurts channels if you're only watching half of a video and then leaving for the actual battle report. This way, it's two separate videos. It all works out well. And it just keeps me entertained, because ultimately my big approach to the channel is if I'm bored with it, then so are you, and if I'm entertained by it, then hopefully you are too. But yeah, basically if I get bored, it's going to go away. And if I like it, it's going to stay unless I get huge pushback. Yeah, Brian in the chat saying Brian versus Chris. I want that to happen. I want that to happen sooner than later, and it probably can, especially if we do 1,000 points, because I'll get into the hobby streams later, the hobby portion later of what myself, Chris, Brian, and Jonah, the owner of Card Shop Games, are all up to, because that's basically the core of who are helping produce content for us right now. So yeah, Fight Night. It's the War Center, the full battle report. I'm going to try to get at least one of those out a month. Ultimately, I'm pushing to make sure I can get consistently one every other week. And once I can, I will then push further to try to get more content out. I'm working on that permanent schedule, but having a full-time job with on-call and wonderful wife and 3 wonderful children, it's harder to find time, but I will make it so. That pretty much covers the channel format, is training sessions, sparring sessions, and fight night. I'll come up with actual names for those that are more correlated with Age of Sigmar, miniature wargaming in general, to make it cool. Brian's suggesting Beast of Chaos versus Night Haunt. That's probably a more even matchup that you could find. I think that would be good. I mean, Brian, since you're in chat, I can tell you that she's got her second Morngul assembled, so that's 2 Mornguls now. So, other content. I know most of you know are here for battle reports. I assume. If you're not, if there's some other reason you subscribed that wasn't battle reports, let me know. I really want to know that. But we do have other videos on here. We have a series called "And Now You Know," which is a series where I cover obscure rules, weird rules, or rules you may not have heard of, or weird interactions that get a lot of questions in the community. You know, when you see consistent questions repeated throughout, like, what does this rule do? How do you interact here? I try to cover in a very simple, very succinct 5-minute or less video way to cover 3 topics or rules that I can clarify for folks. We already have season 1 out. You can see that in the I can't remember the name of the playlist. We have a game guide playlist or something along the sorts, but we have each individual episode that's, again, 3 to 5 minutes broken up, but episode 1 through 7 is also in one entire video that you can watch all at once. I've covered things like how you pile in correctly, what charging actually gets you, the benefits of a battalion, how Rend actually works, stuff like that. And there's going to be a lot more, and I'm planning on doing another series, possibly just like broken down by battle tone, doing an and now you know per again per battle tone, like, and now you know Hedonites of Slanesh edition, and now you know Cities of Sigmar edition. Could begin because they're short videos, they're fun to make, and they seem to be received well. A lot of people seem to subscribe when I post those, which means I should probably do them more. But again, if I'm not inspired to do it, I'm not going to force myself to do it unless I'm just being lazy. Then I will force myself, but I'm not going to force creativity in that way. Like, if I feel like I need a video, I'm not going to force a video, but I'll like hobby, or I'll do something to try to get myself in the mood. And then when inspiration strikes me, I'll write it down and like, okay, I'll come back to this and this will be good. Or I'll be, at least inspired enough to put some effort into it. Also, we have speed paints of my wife. She goes by the handle Tulilia, Tulila. I lost track of it. Yeah, Tulilia. But she has Twitch as well, so twitch.tv/Tulilia. And any of the stuff that she live stream on there that's Age of Sigmar or Warhammer oriented, we've posted speed paints of those. She'll do. We break it up. I break the speed paints up into like what segment of the drawing she's working on. So like the sketch, that one's less often. The line art, so when she's actually got the sketch and is making the actual lines for the real drawing. Flat color, which is where she colors the whole thing, but it's not all the details. Be like the equivalent of base coating and shading. Not even the shading, just base coating of a model if you're physically painting it. And then full color speed paints, whereas like when you're doing the shading, layering, and highlighting on the models, but for her drawing, that's kind of the equivalent of that. But those speed paints are available. She's got some of a character I made up called Archibald Tome Render. It's a Stormcast. It's, to me, when Archibald on the comics, I can't remember the name of the comic, but the little 4-panel comics that came out for Age of Sigmar, like the original one was how Archibald like ate up some tomes. It was a Gryph-hound that ate up a bunch of tomes of the Stormcast, so he banished them to the realms. And I thought, what if like Archibald went down there and then died, and then we're like, well, I mean, he died for a cause. I feel bad. Let's reforge him, and he got reforged into a Stormcast. So it's like a Gryph-hound with wings, because I kid bash into a Knight Azeroth, so it's a Gryph-hound head, wings, tail, all kinds of stuff like that. But Chris did the art for that, so we have a speed paint for Archibald. There's a speed paint for let's see, for lots of vampire women. You've got a speed paint for Neferata. You got a speed paint for Isabella von Karstein, even though we tagged it as Sigmar. Whatever, it's our world. We can do what we want. And geez, what else? There's an anointed on Phoenix Temple on foot. Oh yeah, who would actually be? I guess it's the Caradrian model. All you old world folks might know what I'm saying. I have no idea what I'm saying. Okay. Inspired by the paint job I put on it, and I run it as an anointed because Phoenix Temple are the best. Fight me. I'll just ignore your wounds. let's see. So speed paints. Yeah. So now you know speed paints. The edited down Twitch games. I know I covered this, but for other content, this is something I will be added. It's not there now. Is taking those live Twitch streams and editing them down, shortening them, and just keeping the meat of the game and throwing it on a playlist. Hobby streams. I can't decide where I want hobby streams. So if you're listening to this now, tell me. And if you're listening to this later, leave a comment. Would you prefer to see my like long form hobby streams where I'm painting models and rambling my ass off, probably drinking, on YouTube or on Twitch? Because I genuinely don't know. And so far, the only thing I can think about Twitch is Tabletop Sim, and more to be talked about later in this podcast. But please let me know. Where would you like hobby streams? YouTube or Twitch? Let's see what else I have. Live music. That's going to be Twitch. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go into what I am going to do on Twitch. I'm thinking hobby streams on Twitch myself, but if I'm way off base and you would actually enjoy this as a subscriber to the YouTube channel, please tell me, because I will absolutely put it here. You guys are priority right now. I have 10 followers on Twitch right now, which is awesome, but I have 916 here. So I mean, I'm pretty concerned with what y'all say. So yeah, hobby streams here or on Twitch. Also on Twitch, since the music is what got me affiliated there, I'm thinking of setting it up where I can do my practice when I practice music. I'm going to find a way, much like Matt Heafy on Trivia and all that, I have the cameras, to do my practice sessions when I'm jamming through my songs and playing them and practicing them live on Twitch. It's basically live practice sessions of music, also on Twitch. That'll be fun for me and just an easy way to get some more live stream practice for me. Because again, any live streaming you see on the channel, like the 2 or 3 podcasts that have been live and whatever's on Twitch, that's the only live streaming I've ever done in my life. I'm very used to doing the videos and then editing them down. Also, we are going to learn Soulbound, the role-playing game, the Age of Sigmar role-playing game. It's awesome. It's just a fantastic system, and the fact that you can have like a zoomed-in view of single characters in the Age of Sigmar universe is fantastic, because at this point in the world, the lore is so in-depth and so fantastic for Age of Sigmar that it's easy to have a role-playing game. So I'm glad that Soulbound is out. We have a lot of role-playing experience in our past. Me, Chris, Brian, my cousin Sean, he doesn't come around as much, but we all have John. I don't know if John hasn't been on the channel yet, but one of the guys we got corrupted and into Warhammer, heavily into. Yeah, one of us. Gooble gobble, one of us. What movie am I quoting there? Old folks. But if we get Soulbound to a point where we actually know what the hell we're doing when we're playing, it'll be easy now for me to set up tables and cameras and mics to live stream that. And that's something I would like to do on Twitch as well, is actually live stream role-playing sessions of that, and possibly Dungeons and Dragons too, because we all have been playing that for a long time. It's been probably a couple years since we all sat down together. That's actually what got us into Age of Sigmar, so that means it was 3 or 4 years ago now that we all sat down to play D&D. But even that, we would stream that on Twitch, and then another thing where I would cut out all the extra stuff, the breaks, the intermissions, and all that, and just get all the meat of that, and put those in playlists on YouTube as well. And then following that, also random game streams. If I have a video game, I basically am I'm likely just going to record or stream on Twitch anytime I'm playing a video game. I don't really see a reason not to. If I'm already playing the game, I might as well just stream. Yeah, so it'll be very much, Twitch will be like the catch-all, having experimental stuff going on over there, and my solid content, or our solid stuff, is going to be in finished polished products, as polished as they can be for us, will be on YouTube. From there, I think that covers all of the content side of things and content updates on things. As far as I know I've been rambling. I've been talking a lot, so I don't know if that means anything, but I'll move on from there. So I'm going to go into hobby, what we've been doing with our hobby lately. By we, I mean myself, my wife, Brian, And Jonah up at the card shop. He's the owner of the Card Shop Games here in Granbury, Texas. Fantastic store. So I've got a lot of stuff on my plate, and that's my own fault. I just finished painting Lumineth Realm Lords and was able to get the battle reports out. And now I just ordered one of everything of the new Realm Lord stuff. So I've got that to paint, but I don't know that that's going to be my priority since I already have the Lumineth list. And I'm not going to be playing it much on the channel. I will, but not much, just because it's annoying to play against, to put it lightly. And what I would rather work on is something I've had a passion for and played so many games with, but have not painted, and that's Khorne. Oh boy, do I love Khorne. Like Mortal Khorne specifically. Blood, like Gore-Tide, Bloodbound. Woo! It's the most fun. I don't win a lot of games with it, but my god, I have the most fun playing Blades of Khorne. And finally, with with Brian having so many Beasts of Chaos, because man, that man has a lot of Beasts of Chaos. And they're all painted. Sorry about the burping. They're all painted too. We've been testing some lists on Tabletop Simulator. You can actually, I think our last game on Twitch was a game with this Khorne army that I'm going to paint up. A lot of it is painted. It's a Gore-Tide. No, it's the Gore-Tide, whatever clan is called for Khorne. Then it has 2 battalions. It has a Brass to Spoilers battalion and a Dark Feast battalion. It is 6 units of 10 Blood Reavers, 3 units of Bestigors, a Gorgon, a Doom Bull, 2 Blood Secrators, a Slaughter Priest, and a Blood Stoker. Ends up being like a 5-drop army. Has a ton of stuff, and it just all goes forth and dies. It's a super Death Clock army. And but it just really mucks everything up with just swarming everything and kind of controlling board position. Not necessarily killing much at first, but killing enough and dying enough to where you get swarmed with hundreds of models right off the bat. And then after you get through it, I've summoned a ton more. And I don't know, it's just super fun. Because even when I'm losing, I feel like I'm doing great on Khorne. So I can't recall whether I've won or lost any of my games on that. I know I have both, but like just to make the point, I can't recall whether I've won or lost a game. I just remember all the crap that happened in the game and how awesome it was. So I have 50 Blood Reavers to paint. Oh, it also has a Slaves of Darkness Demon Prince, because my god, a Khorne-marked Demon Prince with Blood Slit Ground is insanely good. I credit that to David. We had he's a guy that played at a local tournament. The first tournament I ever ran at Collected Comics in Fort Worth. Was a 1,000-point tournament. A guy named David brought a Khorne list. He brought a Demon Prince after Slave to Darkness had come out. Didn't realize you could do that. I thought that was awesome. It was Khorne marked, Blood Slit Ground. Everything within 18 inches, enemy-wise, halves their run and charge rolls. Oh boy. Oh boy. That means if you're in 3 inches, you have to roll a 6 before your charge succeeds. And just add more to that. Anyway, I digress. The list is fun. List is incredibly fun. So I need to paint 50 Blood Reavers, a Blood Stoker, a Blood Secrator, and I might have to force Brian to paint 10 more Bestigors unless he has a 3rd unit that's painted and not here, because he's left all of his basic Beast of Chaos here. But I have them. I mean, I've already got them started. There, I don't know if you can see that. You know, I've got a bunch of random Khorne. I don't know that I've directly paid for any Khorne models, by the way. Because I originally bought like a Storm of Sigmar box. I bought that starter set that had Stormcast and Khorne in it. So I got those. And then 2 or 3 different people have approached me and said, I'm tired of my Khorne. Do you just want them? And have given them to me. I have just mounds of Khorne models. And now I'm like, you know what? I should actually make this a real thing. So I'm going to. That's my hobby project priority, is Blades of Khorne. So there we go. And then Lumineth after that, to finish off all the kangaroos and whatever angry, dumb models I can make there. Because my god, being a Cities of Sigmar player, having that Lumineth hero that can be in there, allied, and give me more command points. Beautiful. Gonna do that too. So Brian, let's get into Brian. Brian's got some projects. So Brian has everything chaos, basically. Except for Slanesh, but I'll get into that in a minute. Brian has a lot of random chaos stuff to paint because he's got, again, anything but Slanesh you can think of. He can make some sort of list out of Slaves of the Darkness, Beast of Chaos, Skaven, Corn if he uses my stuff. Like he's got a lot. Nurgle especially. My God, Nurgle. He's got some new Nurgle to paint up because of the new. Maybe not to paint up, but he already has. Yeah, you've already got all your Nurgle stuff is basically painted. But he has a bunch of Chaos Marauders coming in because he's recently discovered the glory that is Marauders. So that'll, knowing Brian, that'll take him at least a day to paint, and at most a day. No, I'm just kidding. Most a week or so. So yeah, Marauders, Chaos Marauders for Brian, and Brian has been corrupted by all the Phoenix Temple and Lumineth. Has some elves himself now. Brian has Daughters of Cain now. He has 2,000 points of Daughters of Cain that are getting assembled and painted now. And when I say Brian's doing it, that means it's going to happen a lot sooner than later. If I say I'm working on Corn, that means within the next year, you're going to see a Corn army. When I say Brian's working on a Daughters of Cain army, that means within the next 3 to 4 months, tops, you're going to see a Daughters of Cain army. So that's going to be on the channel. Stay tuned for that in our sparring sessions on Twitch and our training sessions on our Discord. And again, sooner than later on battle reports. I'm so glad that we have access to a Daughters of Cain army, because in our like super local scene, you know, we're kind of in the Dallas-Fort Worth scene, but we're in a country town outside of that, so we kind of have our own little scene too, which is a lot of players. For a town that has 10,000 people, we have like 10 Sigmar players. That's a pretty good ratio to me. But like, we have access to Tzeentch, we have access to Seraphon, we have access to, you know, my Lumineth, we've got Fire Slayers, we have all kinds of like top tier lists. The only thing is, like, the big top two that we don't have access to is Caradron Overlords and Daughters of Cain. Brian having Daughters of Cain, now we do, which is awesome, because now we can test against the big Mamma Jamma list. But yeah, so Brian, Chaos and Daughters of Cain. As far as Chris, my wife, she already has 1,250 points of Night Haunt painted. Now with a Mourngul, that adds quite a bit, and she's like really hunkering down. It's hard for her to hunker down with having to watch the kids all day while I'm working, and then what we're doing at night, and then having to watch the baby at night, and you know, it's like, okay, now it's midnight, I get to, I should probably sleep. On top of doing commissions and like streaming her art and writing novels. Yeah, she's a bit busy, but she's still getting painting in, and Night Haunt is her one of two focuses. So she'll have 2,000 points of Night Haunt very soon. Already has 1,250. We might go ahead and do some battle reports at that point value. Do a 1,250 or 1,000 battle report on a 4x4. Yeah, I would like that. I would like that. I usually have to play them though, but the hard part there, she doesn't like me playing them because I'm very fat-fingered and clumsy-handed, and Night Haunt breaks so quick. They've been broken several times, and it's only been by me. On top of that, she has a very special list she's been working on for a long time that's been taking a lot of green stuff and whatnot, and that is Fire Slayers. She's actually been rededicated to doing that. A lot of it's half painted and a lot of it's half green stuffed, but she's really started hitting the green stuff hard and getting the painting going now. So there's going to be a Fire Slayer list. It is not going to be the typical like sweaty nerd Fire Slayer list like would be my Lumineth stuff, where it's the equivalent of net listing, like this is what you should do and this is what you should play. She doesn't give a crap about that. She's gonna have like 30 models in a 2,000 point Fire Slayer list. There'll be a Rune Father, 2 Rune Sons, all on Magma Dross, a Gotrek, some Grimwrath Berserkers, some, you know, Hearthguard Berserker battle line. So it's like the least amount of cheeky ass dwarves as possible. But hey, it's awesome. It'll look great. It'll be fun. Fire Slayers are great. I can't wait to have those on the channel. I played them a bunch unpainted, but oh, they're so fun. So fun. You know, but we should have like a bunch of like, or we should have a battle report of butts versus butts and do Daughters of Cain versus Fire Slayers. Just let's do a tag football game. Skins versus, well, skins. I guess skins versus beards. Hey. Anyway, so there we go. Brian's working on Chaos and Cain. I'm working on Blades of Corn and Lumineth Realm Lords. Chris is working on Night Hunt and Fire Slayers. Then there's Jonah, the Card Shop Games. He has very different Magic and Nurgle lists than Brian, plus Slaves to Darkness, Gloomspite Gits, but his main hobby project right now is Sons of Behemoth. Behemoth? Big Fat Mega Gargants. He is doing a lot of green stuffing. He's finished all that. And he has a lot of props and 3D printing added to it. I will not tell you what it is, because he very much wants to have it painted and finished to debut on the channel to show his awesome, not just color scheme, but theme that he has on his Sons of Behemoth army. So I can't give any more details than that, because I don't want to ruin the surprise or ruin the fun for Jonah. But he will be debuting those. Oh, I can't give an exact timeline. But again, he's already got all the green stuffing done now, and he's done all the priming. He's painted his little big guys, and now it's just his 3 Mega Gargants left. But that's going to be a fun list. That guy is really good with Gargants. I've played some practice games with him, and like, I think Mega Gargants are a lot better than people think they are, but they don't play normally. You can't play like typical style with them, and they're a lot less offensive than people expect, and a lot more defensive and movement oriented. Kind of the same thing as how I feel about Mortal Blades of Corn. Is a lot of people don't play them, but I think they're a lot higher tier than they're perceived by the community as. But they play very differently. Like you win by dying, which doesn't feel right, and there's a lot of control, and like some of the smallest part of playing them is your offense, which feels very counterproductive for, Blood for the Blood God. But I digress. So I've covered content. I've covered my computer being on fire and us coming back with the new stuff. So there might be a delay due to that, but it's certainly not going to stop anything, and we're going to come back stronger than ever. Very excited. This computer's awesome. So awesome. But hey, if you would like to see anything Razortree Productions, you can go to our website, razortreeproductions.com. That's where I've consolidated everything. All of our channels, all of our ways to pledge, all of our different social medias. You can access anything and everything there. You can follow us on here. As you can see this channel, please click subscribe. We are so close to 1,000. I cannot wait to get to 1,000 subscribers. That's going to be very exciting. But anyway, if you don't know, it's youtube.com/razortree. I'm pretty sure. Mostly sure. On Twitch, it's twitch.tv/razortree. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitch. I already said that. Twitter is what I meant to say. We also have a Minds website. That's another social media site, MINDS. You can earn crypto on there. It's pretty cool. I love that place, though. It's like the Wild West. Love that place. We also have Patreon. If you feel that what we create is worth your monetization, then you can pledge there. I mean, $1 a month pretty much gets you everything you need. We also have a Subscribe Star if you don't like the big tech platforms and want an alt tech way to do the same thing. Subscribe Star is the way to go. Let's see. Other than that, I think I've covered everything I want to cover and have pretty much finished rambling. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Have a wonderful war game.